This video is sponsored by Thrive Market. Yeah, this is Billiam. Plug and play TV games became a massive trend during the early 2000s. No software needed. All you have to do is pick up the controller and plug it into your TV. So many companies started selling old games with this cute new packaging. Pac-Man, Atari, Space Invaders, these releases were so popular that soon plug and play games started having their own unique software packaged in one-of-a-kind plastic molding. A Star Wars release in the shape of the Millennium Falcon, Scooby-Doo in the shape of the Mystery Machine. I always get a smile out of SpongeBob's nose as a joystick. But what were they thinking with Spider-Man's rod or the Thing's thing? I gotta say, the Brat's lips slay so hard even though it's a math game. This did so much for women in STEM. But today, I want to talk about plug and play ripoffs because in a way, this whole era of gaming is defined by unique controller styles. The Nintendo Wii had motion controls, but so does Jakks Pacific's Triple Header Sports. The very last plug and play game released was a Walking Dead gun game that featured a big old zombie sensor bar, bigger and bolder than the Wii's. Guitar Hero had a guitar-shaped controller, and so does this Hannah Montana Guitar Hero knockoff. Skateboard controllers, wheels to drive, floor mats that let you be Spider-Man. I got so many of these, and all I can do is ask you to watch me as I plug them in and play them. The thing about plug and play games is I gotta be plugged into the TV, and I have no time to go to the grocery store. So thank you to today's sponsor, Thrive Market. Thrive Market is an online membership-based grocery store that delivers high-quality groceries right to you. They offer you access to premium products without that premium price tag. Thrive has very high standards as to the ingredients they allow in the products they sell. They restrict over 1,000 questionable ingredients from all of their available products. What I love most about Thrive Market is it's the first ever online-only retailer to accept Snap EBT, granting greater access to premium quality, healthy products. There's also the Thrive Gives program. For every paid annual membership, Thrive donates a membership to someone in need. And that helps me feel good about what I'm buying and where I'm buying it from. Since we work from home, it's more convenient to have meals at home. It also saves us money as we continue to save up for our future, and it keeps us in control of exactly what we're using to fuel our bodies. I made a one-pot chicken and rice dish with wild rice and turkey bone broth. It was so good. I got that skin real crispy with some avocado oil. Bet you didn't know Billiam could do that. I've also never made tikka masala with ghee before, so I had to try that since ghee was included with my free membership gift. It brought a whole different kind of richness to the meal. I could eat. And since I loved so much of what I got, I love that they have a buy it again feature, so I don't have to waste time. So if you want to join me and start saving time, money, and yourself from having to go to the grocery store in dang old 5 p.m. rush hour, click the link in the description or go to thrivemarket.com/Billiam to get 30% off of your first order and a free gift when you sign up for Thrive Market today. Thank you again to Thrive Market for sponsoring the video. First up is Triple Header Sports, released by Jakks Pacific in 2010. Clearly inspired by Wii Sports, unlike the Wii Remote, the controller plugs directly into your TV. So don't yank it to the floor. The game features 3 attachments in the shape of a tennis racket, golf club, and a bowling ball, which snaps on like a clamshell. Nintendo was kind of too classy to make their own first-party accessories like this, but plenty of third parties tried to make this for the Wii. You can even design your own custom me-esque character in this game, except your options are very limited. You get like 2 hairstyles, and every character looks the same, but you can make your character's skin blue and green, so that's kind of dope. A lot of the 3D graphics in these games are pre-rendered 2D images, and the end result is this static movement that does not complement the motion controls whatsoever. The characters look like their ankle bones are breaking when they're bowling. It's such an unnatural pose. Ew, I don't even want to look at it. The bowling game is easily the best of the 3, but it's so dry. Wii Bowling felt good with a lot of fanfare and sound design to make you feel good for doing well. But nothing about this feels good. People are breaking their ankles. But swinging the golf club manages to be much more awkward than the bowling ball. You can practice swing all you want. Holding down a button lets you do it for real, but still, I often felt like the game would get stuck in the practice swing even when I was still holding the button. The tennis game is one of the most infuriating things I have ever experienced. Serving is so simple. You just move the controller up and swing, but then I cannot hit the ball back for the life of me. No matter how I hold the controller, the speed of my swing, the timing of my pullback, it rarely ever lands. It's very frustrating, but I keep having to calm myself down because this thing is wired into the TV, and if I get too crazy, that thing's going straight to the floor. But the Wii was also known for breaking TVs, so it's sort of an authentic experience. points. Next, made by Jakks Pacific and released in 2009, we have SpongeBob SquarePants Bikini Bottom 500. Being one of a handful of plug-and-plays that try to emulate the Wii wheel, this is one of the strangest looking controllers I've ever seen. SpongeBob's head sits in the middle and his disembodied hands sort of like stretch out across the wheel like he's ripping open a portal and peeking in all my holes. It's a real Freak Bob encounter. The 3D models of the characters are funny. I get a kick out of Squidward's gamer neck, so I had to pick him. He's just like me.
I have a need for speed.
Yeah, look at his calm, collected face up there.
He knows he's killing it, dude.
Surprisingly, I don't think this game controls poorly whatsoever. The motion control steering feels good, but there's not much else to it. You race around multiple recognizable locations from Jellyfish Fields to Goo Lagoon, with all the themes being recycled multiple times for multiple tracks. In Mario Kart, you shake the remote to do a trick off a ramp, and you do here as well, but they tell you to pull the controller toward you instead, which never registers correctly, so just shake it, like in Mario Kart. No need to reinvent the wheel, guys. There are moments where you have to use the controller rotation to balance your character. You collect coins in the race to spend on vehicle repairs, which you just shake the controller to complete.
This is fun.
The best part is you can kill your opponent with weapons and by ramming into them. They literally leave the race, which gives you an objective when crawling your way around the map. As Squidward, I had to kill Plankton every time because he's below me on the social ladder. Not many characters below Squidward on Bikini Bottom's social ladder. You gotta take advantage of that.
Dude, if you played this game as a kid, did you have trouble with it?
And if you did you ever get better at life?
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong?
But this game gets boring so fast. There's no 2-player mode, so all in all, it's no Mario Kart. Released in 2007 by Active Arcade and Scenario Entertainment, we have the amazing Spider-Man You Are the Hero game. The company who made this also made clear copycats of DDR, and the Spider-Man game also features a floor mat. You use your feet to play the game. Spider-Man's eyes are the power button, so you turn this thing on by sticking your dogs in Spider-Man's face. His spidey senses are going fucking haywire. So many of these motion-controlled games would clearly be easier if they just had a standard controller, but if that were the case, you'd still have to deal with the fact that the games are so boring. I immediately groaned when I saw one mode had Spider-Man carrying somebody across a highway, with the challenge being avoiding cars a la Frogger. Dog, why doesn't Spider-Man just swing over those cars? Look at this photo of Mary Jane and Spider-Man. The game keeps flashing at you. I know what you're thinking looking at this. Spider-Man could totally swing a person across a highway. Why is he walking him across the street? I need the story, people. Is the guy's neck broken? The controller attachment has 2 punch buttons on either side and a web button in the middle. You gotta web up Spider-Man's iconic villains before beating them to death.
I won.
I will say, pushing the buttons does not feel good whatsoever. It had me questioning if the game was even working correctly. It literally feels like there's gum under the button. It's not satisfying whatsoever. But nothing infuriated me more than the rescue missions. There's a burning building and 8 people are dying around you as you aim and shoot your web. The setup is so simple, but the floor mat makes it so horrible. You have to push both forward and both back arrows to aim directly up or down. I swear to God, I was closer to breaking my ankle trying to do this than Spider-Man was to saving anyone. Then we have the robbery scenario, which uses similar controls to the boss battle, where you have to step in the direction of the bad guys to sling some webs at them. And even this mode is super inconsistent. You gotta wear socks while playing this game or your feet will stick to the mat, and sure, that makes you feel more like Spider-Man, your feet sticking to surfaces, but I bought this on eBay and I'm just trying to figure out who else's foot stick I'm touching. The game is organized through an overworld map where you can encounter different missions, and somehow even the overworld sucks. Instead of stepping in the direction you want Spider-Man to go, you use left or right to turn him around, and then you push forward to make him move in the direction he's facing. This is not how any other top-down games work. It would be so much easier if you just stepped in the direction you want Spider-Man to go, but they have to overcomplicate it for some reason. This doesn't make me feel like Spider-Man, but maybe Spider-Man Webmaster, released by Jakks Pacific in 2008, can. This game is motion controlled through a hunk of hard plastic that tries to wrap around your wrist and rest on your forearm. It's like they're trying to make those toy web shooters into a video game, but it's clunky. Again, the game is divided into several modes. The Rooftop Chase is an incredibly simple platformer made infuriating by incorporating motion controls into character movement. You make Spider-Man run by tilting left and right when your arm is straight out in front of you. To climb, you have to shake shake the controller violently while ignoring the discomfort in your wrist. I swear to God, this is gonna break my arm before it feels good.
They don't expect a little child to be able to shake this as hard and as fast as I can.
Oh yeah, you're well practiced.
Yeah, what the hell?
This would be the most forgettable game of all time if it was played with a D-pad, but the motion controls make it so cumbersome. I'm gonna remember this forever. I don't want to remember it. Next, there's the train run, a top-down temple run kind of thing. Then, Barrage Blast feels like a top-down shooter and is probably the best mode. You have to shoot these robot guys out of the sky and flip over obstacles. It's nothing special, but it makes me realize this could make for a great Spider-Man game. And there's another mode where you have to shoot bad guys as Spider-Man stands in the foreground. It requires you to line up the sights while the motion controls themselves have these very distinct movements across the X and Y axis. Diagonal movement doesn't feel natural, and you have to react to the bad guys so quickly. Why am I so angry playing this? Meanwhile, Peter Parker is forgetting he's supposed to be Spider-Man. That's not the web gesture. It looks like he's playing volleyball.
He's just putting his palms out.
Webs fly down!
None of this makes me feel like I'm Spider-Man. Spider-Man's final moves against the baddies is wild and definitely needs to see a live action adaptation. Spider-Man just webs up Vulture and slams him all over the room, most likely breaking his bones and knocking him unconscious. I wish it were me. By Jakks Pacific and Disney, we have Hannah Montana Pop Tour or Secret Star. Released in 2008 at the height of Guitar Hero's popularity, the guitar-shaped controller has Hannah Montana's face on it, and instead of the 5-button layout a Guitar Hero controller has, there's only 3 buttons. It's made for babies. And instead of a selection of rock music, we have fucking real songs by Hannah Montana. And by the way, a little known fact my researchers dug up, Hannah Montana is actually Miley Cyrus.
Oh, hell yeah, theme song.
Best of both worlds, pumping up the party, nobody's perfect, now that's what I call music.
Sometimes I work a scheme.
She says, sometimes I work a scheme. What was a 14-year-old even scheming about besides gaslighting her friends at school? Living a double life.
Sometimes I make a scheme.
The controller is stiff with the strumming mechanism being a static piece of plastic.
Nice. Nice. She likes it too.
It's absolutely not intuitive, and it's not even plush or boot shaped, so if you want to like pour milk in it to drink out of or to smack against the wall, you just can't.
Great job. Way to rock the show.
Wow, there she is.
Yeah.
It's no Guitar Hero controller, and it's definitely not the Hannah Montana milk pillow. That's the worst of both worlds. There is a 2-player mode, but because the game is in the controller, you have to hear the same song twice. Isn't that so nice? Anyways, I want to know if you were really good at this game as a kid and what it took for you to convince your friends who had Guitar Hero at home to play it with you. Next! Released by Jakks Pacific in 2008, we have the Disney Ultimotion Sleeping Beauty and Tinkerbell. This time we have wireless controllers with a Wii remote kind of thing and a console that houses the game. The controllers came with 2 themed wand-like attachments. They're so bulky and weird looking, and it originally came with wearable accessories, a tutu and fairy wings, but for better or for worse, the copy I bought on eBay did not include them. You're supposed to insert the remote into the wings or into the tutu so you can really feel like a fairy or Sleeping Beauty. Oh boy, it's time to be unconscious. Without the tutu, I'm literally waving the remote around like this. Like to get Sleeping Beauty to move, I have to spin it by the strap to move her hips without moving mine. Guys, I think I have the hips that lie. Daring Escape has you take control of the fairies to help Prince Philip escape the castle. You have to cast spells to keep obstacles from the ground and the sky out of Philip's way. I feel insane playing this game because the entire time I could not tell if I was doing anything right, and then all of a sudden, I won.
Get ready for a big jump. Hooray!
In magical music, you play as Sleeping Beauty herself, orchestrating bird music in the woods like she's a Disney princess or something. On the fairy side of things, we have Tinkerbell's Fairy Flight. You would put the remote in the fairy wing so you can sway side to side like a fairy while Tinkerbell collects random trash on the ground to make gifts for her friends. Sort of like how I picked up this trash to make this video for you guys. I realized that moving up and down was so hard in this game because the game expects you to put this controller in the wearable accessory accessories to like move your body. You're not supposed to hold this. It's supposed to be a part of you, so I'm missing out. There's like a BuzzFeed personality quiz to find out what kind of fairy you are. You have to shake yes or no with the controller, but the motion control is so ass that it was constantly picking up the opposite response. The results are in, I'm a light fairy, and I can't imagine someone playing this twice. Finally, we have Iridessa's Nighttime Lights. It's a side scroller where you have to take Iridessa into the moonbeam to catch the light in your leaf cone. You sprinkle dust on the fireflies, collect crystal fruits. It's nice.
Fuck is this game?
Scoop light. Scoop the light.
But why does it have to be motion controls? What were they thinking? This is shit from a butt. Next, we have another Disney X Jax Pacific Ultimotion game, Phineas and Ferb, best game ever. Released in 2009, I am not surprised that Phineas and Ferb's best game ever is actually 4 games, and none of them are even close to being the best game ever. And let's face it, this is one of the worst video game controllers ever designed. I appreciate how it looks like something Phineas and Ferb would make, but these telephone buttons don't work. This is a mold. This is hard plastic. Swamp Oil 500 is a racing game, and surprisingly, it's nowhere near as good as the Bikini Bottom 500. I've only known about that game for 12 minutes, and I'm already looking back fondly on good times.
Oh look, there I am.
Team Phineas. When you're just a triangle.
I f hard with mini golf mini games, but this mini golf mini game is f***ing me back. Once you get it in the hole, it isn't over. There's this odd target balancing mini game you need to do in between holes. It's as sensitive as my mental state. One wrong turn and it's going off the edge.
Don't give it to your emotions. Silence on the court. This is why no one's allowed to talk at golf games.
We can keep talking.
Now once
See?
I shut
Just
up.
a little golf quiet. Give me some claps. That's too loud for a golf course. Give me some quieter golf claps. There we go. Quiet down.
But then I win and things are good until I look down at the controller in my hands and I go off the edge anyways. The 2 games, starring Perry the Platypus, suffer from a bar of soap on a slip and slide kind of movement. You rotate the controller to move Perry and his jetpack instantly sends him speeding to the other side of the screen like a hockey puck. And you'll be asking 2 questions. Hey, where's Perry? And what were they thinking? Do you ever wonder if Perry is undercover living with Phineas and Ferb because the agency suspects that their engineering projects can make them the next Doofenshmirtz? Cause I think that they're one day away from making their own Inator. Platypus Panic is another platformer that forces motion controls to be in the game at gunpoint. The Disney Channel website had better Flash games than this. They wouldn't even put this shit on their website for free.
You make me insane.
But you know what game would actually slap with motion controls? Lilo and Stitch Sandwich Stacker. I know I'm 15 years late, but use your brain, guys. Sandwich Stacker Deluxe on the Nintendo Wii. Make it happen. Released in 2006 by Radica Games, the Play TV skateboard is made out of solid wood and sits on top of a plastic insert that allows the board to rock with your weight, so you can steer like a real skateboarder. You hold a little control to accelerate. It's nifty, and this was also released several years before Tony Hawk Ride would have its own skateboard controller. There are a few skate parks you unlock as you progress in tournaments. I love these skaters and their voice line. It's very charming until they get old.
Man, I'm tired of this, for real.
You move around the park by pressing a button on the controller attached, and steering is just like moving your weight on a real board. The game itself features a top-down view similar to Skate or Die, but the most memorable thing about it is the characters repeating the same lines over and over again every time you screw up.
Ow! My arm! Ow! My arm! My arm! My arm!
Which gets really old really fast. The board is as small as a penny board, not to mention I'm a fully grown human and wearing shoes on this toy would break it completely. Playing in socks is a death sentence, so you must go bare grippers. The only issue is that it hurts your arches like a motherfucker. I think I'm too big to play this game. They say the weight limit is 180 pounds, and let's just say I'm a big guy. And I nearly broke my ankle while playing it. I've got 2 broken ankles on both legs. And finally, we have a game that was released all the way in 2014. I do believe The Walking Dead BattleGrounds was the last game to be released under the Plug and Play TV banner. The controller is bright orange and green, so you don't confuse it for a real gun. And like the Wii, it has a sensor bar, but instead of that slick little thing that goes on the top of your TV, they have this huge bulky guy with these zombies coming out of it. Why didn't they package this in with the Wii? The game is basically a rail shooter, but it does not have the pace of a fun rail shooter, and each zombie takes 2 shots to kill every time, even if you headshot them, so there's not really an incentive to try. Having to use the sensor to move a cursor across the screen to shoot is much less intuitive than pointing a gun at what you want to shoot and pulling the trigger. But what's cool is the game did integrate directly with the show. Every time a player died in the game, they killed off a beloved character in The Walking Dead, every time. There's a text story mode which features characters from the show, and it's fun to blast zombies, but I have always hated the clunkiness of motion-controlled shooters. Compare it to another game I just had a blast with, Mission Paintball. This is a light gun. Light guns do not work with motion controls. Rather, it communicates with the refresh rate of an old TV to know where the gun is pointing unless you just blast at things on screen. It's so much fun and so intuitive, and even though motion controls got much better after light guns were popular, somehow the light guns are still way more fun to use. It is kind of fun to use the shotgun pump for the Walking Dead game, but it just makes me wish, like so many of these games, I was just playing something better. And that's really the story here for plug and play games. There was always something better available, and we played a lot of these. So if you want to see Savannah and I's nearly hour-long compilation of playing these plug and play games, including ones we didn't talk about, you can subscribe to our Patreon for the exclusive video. Also, our second channel recently launched with a new Digimon podcast. We really love it, and we're going to be talking about a lot more nostalgic things on that channel, including things like plug and play games, toys, cartoons, whatever. So check it out, and thank you to our gold level Patreon members. See ya.